Welcome back, besties. This week we are doing Spooky Stripes, an ombre spray paint tumbler tutorial. But before that, let me welcome you to our YouTube channel and make sure you follow us on all the social media platforms for anything Misfit Makers. And make sure you hit that subscribe button so you can be notified of any new tutorials. Also, check out our website and our Patreon. Okay, so I am using a 24-ounce plump and I'm using black flat paint and Colonial red in semi-gloss. I recommend using flat paint because it dries way quicker, or matte, whichever. All I had was semi in the red, but made it work. I'm sorry for this terrible angle. There's no way to spray paint this by yourself. But here I am fighting the wind, and you want to take little spritz at a time. You may have to go back and forth, little spritz, because it makes a big mess, especially if you live in a windy city. I actually got it on the first shot with the red and black. I tried with white and black, and that was a little bit harder. Had to go back and forth, but look at that. Just a quick little ombre. After that, I gave it one coat of fast set epoxy, adding a little bit of glitter additive. My favorite, you guys already know, Old Bright White by the glitter guy. But after I sanded it, I went ahead and used my regular painter's tape here and my architectural ruler to make sure those lines are straight. You're going to be using those lines as a guide to, or those pieces of tape as a guide to putting your stripes, or the spacing between each stripe. You can kind of eyeball it, but I just basically alternate. So I put three, one next to another, lining it up with the ruler first, and then removing the middle one. And then again, I grab that piece of tape, put it against the other one, right to the line, and then I put another piece and then remove the middle again until I make it all the way around. If you use this tape, you should be able to get around your tumbler with no issues at all, no having any gaps or anything like that. Just make sure your first piece of tape is straight, and also kind of check it halfway through like I did just now with my ruler, just to make sure everything is still staying straight. So after you do this, we are going to spray paint it again. Just kidding, just kidding. After you do this, we're gonna trim up the bottom using an edge trimmer. You can also wrap it on the bottom and make a cool design, but I just kept it easy peasy and used my edge trimmer. Okay, now to the spray painting. So now you're gonna do the opposite. Where there was red, now you're gonna spray paint black. And where there's black, you're gonna do the red. Again, you wanna do tiny little spritz. You do not want to have it drip on you. You do not want to overspray it. So just take your time. This is sped up, but it took me a while of going back and forth. And if you have to let it dry and then come back again so you can correct any of your mistakes of any overspray, then go ahead and do that. I was able to get it in one shot. It was just my lucky day, but any other time, I would have to go back several times. So don't be so hard on yourself. Just give it a shot. The objective is to have a little ombre effect. Okay, so here it is after it is semi-dry. As you can see, the red is a semi-gloss, so it's still gonna be shiny, but the black is a matte, so it's completely dry. So I'm gonna remove my pieces of tape. It is super satisfying to see those crispy lines. That's why you gotta make sure that when you're applying your tape, you mash down all those little edges so no paint creeps in through. So after you do this, you remove your stripes. You want to let it fully dry and gas off. I waited a couple hours for it to completely gas off, and then I went in with 20 mLs of fast set epoxy from CCDIY, and I added a teensy bit of glitter additive from the glitter guy in the color, I want to say it's bright white or ultra white. I'm going to put it in the description in the in the description of the supply list. So check back. It is my favorite one. It is a mica, so it's super fine and it doesn't change colors, and I just love it. I love it. So here it is, all epoxied, and look how pretty and shiny it is. I am super obsessed. It's so pretty. Such a simple design, but so like elegant and beautiful. So anyway, I'm going to start off by very carefully cleaning off my rim with an X-Acto blade and then giving it a nice sand. Okay, so to me, this is giving major vampire vibes or Halloween-y vibes. But with this design, you can basically do whatever you want. Whatever color scheme you want, I think you can make it work for you. It doesn't have to be Halloween. But anyway, I went with this little decal that says "Bite Me" with these little bats. And I just love good, like a good overlay. I feel like everything, or not overlay, offset. I feel like it gives it an extra pop and makes it more elegant, more finished. So I'm doing that with all these little bats. I think I cut too many, but better to have more than to have to go back and have to cut some more. So here I am just doing the offset on the bats, and I've already done the offset on the Bite Me using the textured gold vinyl from Vinyl Fun for Everyone. And actually the metallic red vinyl is also from Vinyl Fun for Everyone. Look in the description of the supply list so you can find any discount codes of the things that I'm using today. Okay, so let's apply our first decal. And I just want to kind of put it right in the middle. I want to have enough room to put some little bats on the top and little bats on the bottom, but you do you, boo. I have seen some other people also use vinyl striping to stripe up your stripes, like around the tumbler. I decided not to do that, but that would look beautiful as well, just depending on what you're going for. I felt like I already had a lot going on with the decal, and plus I'm going to put a bunch of bats all around, so I just wanted to make sure not to overwhelm my design. But striping it is absolutely a good option as well. Okay, so here she is with all the little baddies. I went a little baddie crazy here. Maybe I added too many, even in the bottom, but I just couldn't resist. I think they look so cute. So before you epoxy it, just stop the brakes, hold the phone. You want to make sure you run it with some quick coat. Make sure you cover it with a thin coat of quick coat. Why? Because you don't want your epoxy to repel. When you're using any holographics, any metallics, any textured vinyls, you want to make sure you seal it with quick coat. This will prevent the epoxy from repelling and make you mad and having to epoxy again and again and again. So just take the few minutes to apply a thin coat of quick coat, let it air dry. It takes about 20 minutes, or hit it with a heat gun and it takes like 2 or 3. So after that, I mixed 20 mLs of fast set epoxy, and I went ahead and gave it a good coat of epoxy, and I made sure to torch for any bubbles. And after it was cured, it was all set to go. You may have to do 2 more coats of epoxy, this one and one more, just to make sure your decals are nice and covered, but it all depends on your preference. So I think I did 1 coat of fast set and 1 coat of artist resin before she was completely done. And look at that CCDIY shine. She is so beautiful. I love it. I love how such a simple design I hope it inspired you to try these stripes, these ombre spray paint stripes. And I just love it. I'm just looking at it and I'm like, whoa. Anyways, this may be my personal cup. Anyway, thank you so much for our Patreons. Thank you for your continued support. Thank you so much for subscribing and following our channel. And we'll see you guys next week.